Tonight, the third and final episode of the Diana documentary series airs. It looks at the Princess of Wales as a mother to William and Harry. Gosh, I don't know how comfortable I am with people sort of retrospectively judging
her
mothering
parenthood.
skills.
Do you know what I mean? Did they say anything to her when she...
Yeah.
It's like,
but anyway,
you know,
these were people who were privy to Diana and her relationship with her sons, and so they seem to feel that there might have been an issue about her sharing too much. Do you think that is a line? Are you wary of that line, Stacey, in your life?
Well, firstly, I just think it's who the hell? I mean, honestly, are you really going to judge somebody who really sadly has passed away, and then you're going to sit there and go, do you know what, I think she shared a bit too much of her kids. I just think, what is your angle? But personally, I think that being a single parent at certain periods in my life meant that I definitely confided in my children and probably told them and opened up to them a lot more than I would have done if I had a partner to open up to. I believe that they probably will grow up with certain, you know, it will affect their personality, it will affect who they are as human beings. But I think if you have the perfect, or whatever the perfect parents are growing up, that will also shape your personality, and it won't all be positive. I think that everything that happens to you from the minute you are born to the minute forever and ever, it changes you and it shapes you and it makes you who you are. And good, bad, great, whatever, I don't think there's a perfect formula. I really don't. I think you just got to go with it and do your best, and what happens, happens.
Should you try and maintain a line, Kelly?
It's difficult, I think. I do try to maintain a line. Like, for me, my line is I don't lie to my children, even though sometimes I may have to, maybe decline from answering something, but I do try to be as honest as possible with them. And in terms of the relationship I had with my mum, for example, my mum and I were really, really close. And again, I guess because of the age gap, we were more like friends. But I think for me, it's about looking at that. I mean, in the Afro-Caribbean community, it can be quite, if you look back on how we used to do things, you definitely wouldn't do them like they are now. I mean, when I was a kid, I was smacked. And I mean, my mum used to take a slipper and throw it at my head. And for whatever reason, I don't know about you, Judi, but my mum always used to be accurate and catch me. I don't know how she did that. I don't know how they did that.
On point.
Yeah, exactly. On point. I don't know how they did that. But I definitely didn't take that. I was definitely conscious of not taking the smacking policy onto my children. So I was able to kind of look at how I was raised and kind of take the good and the bad, because what they, in terms of instilling great qualities into me and being determined and all of that and not giving up 100%. But in terms of the smacking, I just decided I wasn't going to take that on to parenting my children.
I mean, it's really interesting that you mention that, Kelly, because that's another aspect that the documentary goes into. It looks at Diana's relationship with her own parents. Here's a clip. So I guess that takes you into how much does your experience as a child shape the way that you parent?
Yeah, I think, it does. And I think if I just address like, sharing with your kids, I'm quite honest and open with my kids about, the relationship I had with their dad, about being a single parent, dating, finances, because I definitely grew up in a West Indian household where it was like, child, sit down, keep quiet, you don't need to hear big people business. And I think that in itself sometimes makes the children go off and start to wonder, is this happened because it's my fault, or is this happened because somebody else? And from the age of 9, my mum was really sick, she had an aneurysm, so there was things as a child that I had to look at almost like an adult. And I think having the relationship I had with my mother, which was a lovely woman, but very strong, and her thing of, coming to England from Jamaica was about providing. I need to make sure the house is warm, food is provided, clothes are provided, and sometime in the mix of working a 16-hour job, she's not going to be able to say, oh, I love you. But I knew she loved me because I was nice and round and chubby with all the good food. Do you know what I mean? There she is, bless her. Don't make me cry on this Friday, these eyelashes not coming off. Yeah. So I think there's things that I picked up, and because of that, when she did have her first stroke, and she had 5, I remember her, I love you. And I was like, wow. And I think that was because she realised, she nearly passed away, and now she has to, make sure she says it to me. And I think now I've had children, I'm constantly, love you, love you, love you. I'm constantly telling them I love them. I'm constantly showing a lot of affection. So I do really think that, the relationship with your mother makes such impact on how you parent and the
Is
attachment.
it the key relationship, do you think, Stacey?
I think it is the key
think it is?
relationship because that's the person, you know, you've come from your mother, you're born with them, and the attachment. If you look at people whose attachments are broken early, sometimes it does affect you.
What do you think, Stacey? The key relationship?
I mean, I'm a mother, so I'd like to think I'm the most important person in my children's life, but I am fully aware of how much of a bond and how important the bond is with their dads. I also know that Joe lost his father really young and it's had a huge, huge impact on him. So I think it's the people around you, your carers, whether they're your mums, dads, whoever, you know, is looking after you and raising you. They are a fundamental part of your life, and I think they're all just as important to have around.
Yeah, I see you nodding there, Kelly.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm sorry. It's terrible, but I always feel like I'm watching it on telly. Like I'm literally watching Stacey like I'd be sat on my sofa.
Well, I'm really glad you haven't switched us off, Kelly. That's really good. Bargain hunt.
No, I totally agree. Like it's really like that. Like the bond that I have with my children is I'm watching that, and I'm watching that grow and develop. And over lockdown, I think that was even more sort of impressed upon because of your time. You're just always together. But I learned a lot about them. I learned a lot about who they are. I learned, and they learned about me also. And I think that relationship is really key. But equally, as Stacey said, I've got some really good friends of mine who are single fathers, and I've watched them do an incredible, and still doing an incredible job. And one father I'm thinking of in particular, who's taken on children that weren't his, sort of birth children, and he is doing a tremendous job. So, like Stacey said, I'm just echoing it. Like the carers are, are vital, I think, and do shape you.
Yeah. Oh, I love seeing the photographs of you all, actually. It was really nice, and your mum and everything. There's one of mine. Can we sneak in one of mine? My lovely mum playing with me.
Okay.
Where is she?
I can't wait to be able to cuddle people, honestly.
That is the last photograph of me and my mum together.
Okay.
Yeah.